start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, all students from the humanities faculty, from Department of Psychology, Department of Economics, Department of History. A warm welcome to everyone. A very warm good afternoon. I wanted to have this orientation and this online webinar for all humanities faculty students. Preferably from the CYBA, but even if there are students from SYBA, you're most welcome. The reason why we thought of having this, series of webinars, because when we had our lectures and orientation program with the present CYBA psychology batch, which is for the academic year 2020-21, we felt that there are some glitches, there are some, obstacles that students were having difficulty in solving. And, with this new pandemic, with the pandemic and the new normal, most of us are aware that we need to get into online classes and have a couple of classes going on at least till UGC notifications or Bombay University notifications. So we just thought that, if we went through this process together, solved our problems together, so it would become much easier for teachers to teach their portion, favorably and send out the information to you all easily, and you all don't have any obstacles. So the whole idea of doing this webinar through the alumni of our department, that is around 12 of them who have passed out from CYBA psychology batch, as in passed out, as in they're still awaiting the UGC notification, but they are from the earlier academic year of 2019-20 batch. The entire class, that is 21 of them, have gone through a good training program from IIDE, and this training program was where they were oriented to learning different online media handles, and they are pretty much confident in dealing, because we've had our online classes, we've had a couple of webinars, etc. So what we want specifically for the students is, this is not a compulsion, but preferably we want to make this a hands-on or experiential kind of a webinar, where we just don't talk one-way communication. We prefer students having the gadgets available. It's absolutely all right if you don't have a laptop with you right now or a PC, but preferably if you could use 2 mobile phones, preferably again smart mobile phones, because if you do what we are telling you to do, the learning would be much easier. If you don't have 2 gadgets with you right now, that is also all right. Then we request you to write down the step-by-step points that they are going to be teaching you, so that it will become easier for you to try it whenever you have access to the gadget, and you can come back tomorrow with any difficulties you face. So quickly to summarize, today we are going to be teaching you Microsoft Teams. Through the 5 days, we're going to be teaching you Microsoft Teams. We're going to be teaching you Google Classroom. We'll talk a little bit about Google Meet, a little bit about Zoom, what is the difference, what are the limitations, what are the advantages. This is primarily going to be used for your subject learning, be it psychology, be it economics, be it history, be it English. Moving on, we also realized that with this new portion, a lot has changed, specifically for CY psychology, as I've already oriented you in the last week in our lectures, that there is going to be a lot of projects and assignment-based learning, which means that you are expected to make PPTs, you are expected to submit assignments, for which I think a little bit of Canva learning, which is, designing, a little bit of cartooning, which will make your presentations or your projects a little different, and that will get you higher marks. So we're going to expose you a little bit to Canva and to creative aspects, which is through your cartooning. Now, we in CY Psychology also believe a lot about we give a lot of importance on research paper writing, because as a part of your practicals, this year, they have increased the marks of the rough report that you will be submitting. I've already oriented you about this. till last year the syllabus pattern was little different. The rough reports that were submitted were just checked by the teachers, comments were written, and we returned back those corrected answers, and the students made the necessary changes and entered it in the journal. From this year onwards, since practical is going to have an increased internal component, every report that you submit has to be in the American writing format, the American research paper writing format, which means that you need to know how to write a research paper. So whether you really use this lecture in actually writing a research paper, which is excellent for your career and your resume, or whether you use that for psychology, for writing a research paper, your research articles that you will be writing for the journal, is going to have mutual benefit. So that is also going to be on one of the days, the content on one of the days. Community work is something that we voluntarily do. Some students do that. So we'll have one of our students share her experience. Of course, it's going to be different this time because it's going to be online. And I have spoken to a couple of NGOs and they are looking forward to have your enrollment. And we can discuss that in length in our classes. Now, for these two things, these two topics, one is research paper writing and the other is community service. This is specifically for psychology department. Of course, if students don't want to attend that session from history or economics, you're most welcome to miss out on the session. You will still get your certificate. We will be giving certificate to the students who have attended all the webinar series because that is actually fair. Moving on, we have given a timing from 12 to 1, but there might be a little spillover, which means we might extend depending on the question. I request all the students, I see a lovely number, and that is approximately 63 participants who have willingly joined, which is really good. I request you to keep yourself on mute, but I want everyone to keep their cameras on so that you get into the practice of understanding that we cannot have a one-way communication where we are staring into a blank screen and students have their cameras on. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat box. We have Elvin Kotia today, and she has been managing the internal, absolutely the aspect of the technical, the technical side of all webinars. So your attendance will be marked. The pictures will be taken. This entire session is being recorded. All the sessions will be recorded and we will put it up on the WhatsApp group. So you can keep looking at the recorded, you can hear it, you can see the presentations. So whenever you're practicing at home, that will also be an additional help. So once again, I welcome Department of Psychology and the alumni students of our department. Welcome the faculty members, the CHB teachers, the students of Department of Psychology, Economics, History and English for coming in for these 5 days webinars. We're really happy with this overwhelming response. I'm sure you will benefit. Please understand that these are also ex-students who have learned in the process over the last few months. So if you have any issues or you have questions, type it in the chat box. Elvin, at the end of the session, when the questions come in, please propose the questions to Rida Sheikh and Sara Ansari, who will be taking today's session. So Sara Ansari and Rida Sheikh will be taking the session today. Elvin Kocha, you can see her on the screen right now, is the technical help. She will also be taking a session later on one of the following days. To summarize the end, we request you to make this an experiential and hands-on learning. We can give you a 2 minutes to go and get a writing pad, get a pen, and preferably get another gadget so that you can learn hands-on. Yes, over to you, Sarah and Rida Sheikh. All the best. I'm there through the session, so I will also be helping you to resolve any questions. So before we start, if anyone has a question, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, and then we can start. Please mute yourself. Everyone else, please mute yourself. If anyone has a question, you can post the question here or we can start. Okay. So Sarah, the dice is all yours. Welcome, Sarah. She is Sara Ansari and she's all prepared. So welcome. You can start, Sarah.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome everyone on the first day of Flip the Switch. Today I, Sara Ansari, along with my co-mentor Rida Sheikh, will take you all on a tour on Microsoft Teams and Google Meet. First, I will explain Microsoft Teams and then Rida will explain Google Classes. And then we will give you a brief introduction on G Suite. We will keep last 5 minutes for question and answer sessions where you all can ask your queries. So let's begin. I would like to start by asking how many of you have heard about Microsoft Teams? If you know about it, you can show a thumbs up. If not, then it's okay. Okay, so I can see hardly anybody, only a few see. Okay, so for those who do not know, Microsoft Teams is an online platform that combines workplace chat, meetings, notes, and attachments. It has amazing cool features like document collaboration, one-on-one chat, team chat, and many other features useful for business communication. So basically, Microsoft Teams is a shared workspace which makes working in teams quite easy and efficient. Microsoft Teams was actually launched on March 14, 2017. That's like 3 years ago, but still nobody knows about it. This is because people do not have adequate information on how to use Microsoft Teams. They assume that it's very difficult and leave it without understanding its advantages. However, that's going to change today. By the end of this session, you all will have enough knowledge to use Microsoft Teams and understand its purpose. So, Microsoft Teams is available on laptop computers as well as mobile phones. To use mobile phone version of the software, you can go to the Play Store for Android users or App Store for iOS users. And it is pretty easy to find. I will show you the laptop version of Microsoft Teams. Just a moment. Okay, so all you need to do is go to a web browser. I'm using Google. You can go to Mozilla or Internet Explorer, anything you want. Type on the search bar Microsoft Teams. Go to the first link, click on it, and this is Microsoft Teams. Okay. So for the first time users, you need to sign in.
Sarah, can I just get in for 1 minute? Sarah, can you just give them 1 minute? After you give the instructions, give them 1 minute, requesting students to do it along with Sarah so that you get hands-on. As far as possible, try to do it hands-on. Sarah and Rida, when you give them instructions, give them 1 minute gap so that they can log in and they can go on. So just go a little slow because we have a lot of participants. So make it more experiential, Sarah. Yes, thank you, Sarah.
So you all can go to your web browser, whichever it is, and if you have a phone, just go to Play Store or App Store and download Microsoft Teams. And if you're using a laptop or a PC, you can just go to web browser like I did and go to the first link of Microsoft Teams. If you have already done it, you can show me a thumbs up so I can continue. Okay, I see a few hands. Okay, so I'll move forward. After you have now you need to enter your email address. You can use any email address, be it Yahoo, Gmail, etc. I would suggest to use an Outlook email address since Microsoft Teams is integrated with Office 365. So all your other Microsoft apps like Microsoft Word, Excel, all get synchronized with Microsoft Teams. So you just enter your email address. Click on next. Now you will get this option. How do you want to use Teams? There are 3 options: for school, for friends and family, for work and organization. You can select any depending on the purpose. I'm going to select for work and organization. Then you go to next. Now since I already have an account, I won't be able to carry on forward. But you all can. So you will get an option later on to enter your details like your name, company name, etc. If you have clicked on our organization software, if you have clicked personal, then you won't get. For the organization name, you can add RD National, for example. If you're done, then just show me a thumbs up so I can carry forward. I see a few hands up, so I'll continue. Once you made your account, I already have an account, so I'll just log in. So this is how Microsoft Teams dashboard looks. Okay. Did everybody get the dashboard? Show a thumbs up if you have. If I'm going too fast or too slow, you can mention in the chat box. Okay, so I will continue now. So this is a navigation bar, as you can see. There is activity feed, chat pane, Teams, meetings, etc. So I will explain everything in detail now. So this is the first activity feed. You can find your Teams activities, including okay. So this is the setting. You can decide whatever setting you want. I've kept it the default setting. You can check your activity, whatever is happening over here. This is the general feed. Here you can filter your feed, that is, you can find unread messages, replies, reactions, missed calls, etc. So this helps you keep your Microsoft Teams organized. Whatever you want to find, you can easily find over here. The next is the chat pane. Okay, so in chat pane you can hold one-to-one conversation or a group conversation. So I will show you first how to do a one-to-one conversation with Alvin. So as you can see, we need to type a message here, and then you can send it over like this. Microsoft Teams also have editing the message option. You can bold, italic, underline, etc. Change your font size and all that. You can see Alvin replied to me over here. You can also send. You can do the settings of your messages, whether the message will be sent usually days. If you want to send something important, you can mark this like this over here, and whatever message you write, you can send. So when Alvin gets the message on our activity feed, it will show here as an important message. So it will notify her that there's something important she got, and she can straight away go to that message. Likewise, there's even urgent setting. Then you can share your files with this. Now, as I mentioned, that Microsoft Teams is integrated with Office. So I said to use your one Outlook email ID because you can easily access your OneDrive. Okay. You can even upload from your own computer, laptop, or phone the files. You can even send emojis, GIFs, stickers. Microsoft Teams also has this setting function where you can send appraisal badge. As you know, in organizations, when you do a good work, you get appraisal. Okay, so this is basically to increase motivation among colleagues and but you can even use according for your classmates. Okay, like for example, I can send a appraisal to Alvin for a team member badge, and I can even customize it by saying you are doing a great job. Can send it to Alvin, and then I can preview it. So this is how the appraisal will look, and then I can send it to Alvin. Now you can see Alvin has got an appraisal. So all these things is to increase the motivation of your classmates, colleagues, etc. There are other apps also which you can use. You can even share your Wikipedia and all that, weather and all in Microsoft Teams. Then this is a group chat. Over here you can add participants if you click on this icon. As you can see, there are 3 participants over here. If you click here, you can add participants. Now, usually when you use WhatsApp, when you add new participants, the new participants do not get the history of your remaining chats, okay? But in Microsoft Teams, you have this option. You can decide whether you want to share the chat history with the new participant or not. And if you want to share, then how many things? Or if you want to share all the things, then you just enter the name of the person. For example, let's suppose I add Nikita. I want to include all chat histories, and then I add her. She's added. As you can see, her name appears. Okay. You can even change the name of your group over here. I changed it to flip the flip. And the group name change. Okay. You can even the same option which is there in the personal chat. You can do the same thing over here: editing, stickers, important messages, appraisals, etc. As you can see, Alvin is typing over here. Then you can even comment on messages. Like suppose Alvin messaged you will do. There is even this pop-up option in Microsoft Teams which helps you access and view the message while multitasking. Like suppose I'm on Team and this pop-up message is come, then I can straight away reply to Alvin over here without shifting to the chat column. Then as I was saying, you can even comment on the messages. Like see, I can give a thumbs up. There are even options like save this message, mark as unread, translate. You can even translate in Microsoft Teams. Usually you are not able to do this in WhatsApp or any app. So as you can see, Microsoft Teams has a lot of features. It also has again the same filter option. So it's easy to find whomever you are finding. So there are only 4 contacts. But suppose if you have more than 20 and if you need to find somebody, so you can just type the name and here you have the person. There are even settings over here. Like if you want to pin a chat, the chat is important. So if the chat automatically comes there, you don't need to search for it. You can unpin, add to favorite, mute, or notify when it will, etc. The next we go is on Teams. Okay. So now first I'll explain what are teams in Microsoft Teams. So teams are basically just a group of people brought together for either work, project, or common interest. Okay. So now teams are made up of channels. Now I'll explain what are channels. Channels are dedicated sections within a team to keep conversations organized, specific topics, projects, and discussions. Okay. So teams are made up of 2 channels. One is standard channel, that is like common and visible to all, and the second is private channel, which requires permission to join and only private conversations take place. So now as you can see, I've already made a team over here for RD National. Okay, so this is my team. Now I'm going to show you how to make a channel in a team. Okay, so I just click on the 3 dots. You can see over here add channel. Now, as I said, channels can be topics like team events or department name or just for fun. Like suppose if you're interested in art or music something, so you can make a channel for that. So now suppose I make a channel for psychology department. You can write the description over if you want. Now see, as I said, there are 2 types of channels, standard and private. Standard is accessible to everyone on the team. Whoever is in the team automatically becomes a part of the channel. And private is accessible to only a specific group of teams. Okay. Now I want it as a private. Next I click on next. I need to add the name of the people you want in your channel. So suppose I add Alvin. Add Nikita. And I click on add. Now they already got messages in their notepad, and then all you need to do is click on that. Okay, so I've made a channel. Now as you can see, there's general psychology department. This is the channel of the team RD National. So like this, companies have like the name of the company Johnson & Johnson, and then you can have channels like marketing, digital, etc. Or as I showed in college. So this helps sort out a lot of conversations. Okay. Now, in teams, there can be around 30 private channels. So, like in RD National College, there can be 30 channels of different departments. And then each channel can have up to 250 members. So, suppose in psychology department, right now there are only 3, like me, Alvin and Nikita, but there can be up to 250 members. So, as you can see, it is beneficial for a large number of organizations or industries. If you want to create a channel, you can do so by clicking over here, join or create your own team. Then you click on create a team. There are 2 options over here. Build a team from scratch or create an existing Microsoft team. If suppose you already have a Microsoft team which you use for your slides, or suppose you can click the same group, or if you want to build from scratch. Now there are 3 types of teams: private, public and organization. Private people need permission to join. Organization and public is quite similar. Over here anyone can join. It depends on person. And here everyone in your organization automatically joins. Okay, the only difference is anyone and everyone. Okay, but this is like a major difference. Now, as you can see, this team RD National, which I have created. This is a channel, and this is an organized wide team. I can't show it over here. I don't know for some reason. Anyways, the next we go for meeting. So now you might meeting is a very important component in any software. Now over here, what you need to do is you can either start a meeting right away or schedule a meeting. For scheduling a meeting, you just need to click on this, type the name of the meeting. You can select the date, the start time, and when you need to end. Okay. Now, one interesting point about Microsoft Teams is that you can add up to 250 members. Usually in Zoom or Google Meet, the limit is only 100. But in Microsoft Teams, you can add up to 250. That's like a really lot. Also, in Zoom, you have a lot of difficulty because the time limit of the meeting is just 40 minutes. So you have to reschedule the meeting if the meeting goes on. The same goes for Google Meet and all. The limit is 60 minutes. But in Microsoft Teams, the limit, as you can see, it goes on increase. 4 hours, 5 hours, 7, 10. It goes on to 24 hours. Okay, that's like a really lot. So that's one of the advantages of using Microsoft Teams. Now, I can show you how to do a meeting right now. Click on join now. Now, if I want to share, I can do it by copy the link and paste it in my WhatsApp or chat on Microsoft Teams, or I can share by email. So you get the similar link in which you get for Google Meet or Zoom. Now I'll send the link to Alvin. Alvin can join the meeting by clicking on this link. Also, you can share, you can screen share. As you can see, Alvin is joining over here. Okay, so you can screen share the same option like there is in Google Meet. You can do the same thing. I won't screen share because then it will be too confusing since I'm already screen sharing one. There are even other options like show meeting notes. You can take notes, full screen, end meeting, turn off incoming videos, etc. You can even have a live conversation while conducting a meeting over here. So in case there's background noise or something I can't hear Alvin, or there's some audio problem, you can just type over here, or I can type over and we can chat. You can see our participants over here. And that's it. Now I'll end the meeting. Also in Microsoft Teams, there is one more function, transfer option. Now suppose you are on your desk conducting a meeting. Okay, like I'll show you once more over here. This is not there in the meeting option. This is there in the normal chat meeting. Now you can see the settings have changed because I've got Alvin using my chat meeting. Okay, I've not scheduled a meeting. So there are differences between normal meeting and if you want to chat with someone in a formal meeting. Okay. So the same option in the screen, you can hold, you can transfer. Now what is this transfer? Now suppose I'm talking to Alvin through my laptop and then I need to go out somewhere urgently. So and I need to still talk to Alvin. So what do? I click on the transfer option and then the meeting gets transferred to my phone account in Microsoft Teams. Okay. And like this I can talk to Alvin in the meeting but through my phone and we also don't get disrupted. So that's one of the advantages of Microsoft Teams. There's consultant and transfer. That is I have Alvin and I'm transferring my meeting from laptop to okay. That's all the options. Now I can Now we go to the calls. In Microsoft Teams you can even call. That's like unbelievable. In Zoom, Google Meet and all, you don't have all these facilities. So as you can see, Microsoft Teams is basically a combination of various apps which you use, but in Microsoft Teams, all the other features are combined in one similar software. So as you can see, you can speed type, you can check your contacts organized, you can check your history. Like see, I've called these many people at the time, date, etc. You even have the voicemail function. Now, last is the file option in Microsoft Teams. Now, in Microsoft Teams, basically you work in a team. So you can see what everyone in the team is working on. This is empty since this is a new made account. But once you start using your account, you can see what everyone else is using once they share it with you, okay, in their team. So like suppose if Alvin is working on something, on a Word doc using Microsoft Teams, then I come to know what Alvin is working on. What I'm working on, she comes to know. So you can see over here and you can easily access to active files from all your team members. You don't need to share again and again, like how you do in WhatsApp, email, etc. So this is very organized. That's a very good feature. Then again and again you see this OneDrive. So as I again and again mentioned, so it's good to use your Outlook since all your documents are synchronized and it helps you. It's very helpful. As you can see, I click on this function. Yesterday I sent Alvin a document. So as you can see, this is over here. I can send it to Alvin and then she can view it. And this is in my docs, okay, not on Microsoft Teams. But I'm using my OneDrive account. So whatever is there in my OneDrive document, it's all available here and I can directly share it or I can view it, okay. And you can even do document collaboration, like Alvin and I can work on the same document at the same time. That's it for the navigation bar. Then we go to the profile icon. This is the last part. Okay. Now over here you can see your status. You can click available, busy, do not disturb, be right back, appear, away, that etc. Okay. Then you can even set customized messages. I can write, like suppose I'm writing to Alvin. Just a second. Okay, so whatever messages you want, you can write over here and then you can mention it. You can now you have this option when can the person see your status. Okay, so if you click over here, when the person messages you, then only you can see the status message. Otherwise, you can't see. And then you will even have the time limit, like for how long you want to show the message. For 1 hour, 4 hours, 2 days, this week, etc. Like suppose I can write to Alvin, I'm going for lunch, and I can put this setting and save for 1 hour. Since I'll be back after for lunch after 1 hour. So she'll come to know I went for lunch. Okay. And then save options. As I mentioned over here, you can save your chat. Suppose there's an important chat, you can save it. Suppose I save this. Save this. Now, as you all the same messages get stored over here. Yeah, I get the same message which I had clicked. So as you can see, Microsoft Teams is very organized, efficient, and it's super easy to use actually once you come to know, once you get a hang of it. It has a lot of advantages. And with this, we come to an end of our journey with Microsoft Teams. I hope I was able to explain you all everything in detail. If you have any questions, you can mention in the chat box, and I will clear them at the end of the session. Thank you, everyone. Now on to you, Rita.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing okay. I am going to be giving you a brief on how Google Classroom works. So, how I'm going to be going about this is, I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen, obviously, and I'm going to show you a teacher's perspective of what a teacher can do, and simultaneously, I'm going to show you a student's perspective to see what you guys will be seeing, as and when you get the assignments or announcements or whatever it is. And if you guys feel like I'm going fast, or if you don't understand anything, please feel free to unmute and ask me any questions that you have. And if it's a generic question, then obviously towards the end of the session, we'll have 5-10 minutes for any question answers that you guys have. So I'll begin. First, this is how your main Google screen looks like, right? So there are multiple ways for you to access Google Classroom. So you see these tiles over here which says Google Apps. This is where for you all it might be at the bottom, but what you can do is you can drag it and arrange it however you want. This is something new that even I didn't know, that you can actually arrange these tiles here based on how much you use them. And when you click on this, obviously this will take you to Google Classroom. Another way for you to directly access Google Classroom is by going on classroom.google.com, and this takes you to your homepage where all of your classes and all of your classes are gonna be. Now, when you go to the right corner of your screen, you'll see a small plus sign, and it says create or join a class. When you click on this plus sign, so the join class is obviously for the students, and I'll come to that in 5 minutes, and create class is for teachers. So, except without reading. And so your class name, suppose if you have a history class or a psychology class, so you can title it as per your requirements. I'm just gonna name it tutorial and create, and that's how your class gets created. Just give it a minute. Any questions up till now? Anyone? No? Okay. So this class has been created, titled tutorial. So when you click on these 3 lines over here, you get the index where all of your classes and the general settings and everything are. So when you go onto this option which says classes, this is where all of your classes are gonna come. So right now I have only these, and again you can rearrange these. If you want to edit the name, then you click on these 3 dots and you click on edit, and you get the edit option if you want to change the name. So let's go here. Now there are multiple ways. Okay, let's go on the theme first. So suppose you are taking a history class, then you can change. So you see Google has already put up many themes. This is more of, for it to look nice. If you have a science class, then you have so many themes available. I'm just gonna make it this. If you don't want to use a preset theme by Google, you can even upload your own photo. If you have a class photograph or just something like that, you can use your own photograph to set it as the theme. Now I'm going to show you the different ways that you can add students to your class. There are multiple ways that you can add. One of those is, as you can see, there's a class code over here. So when you click on this little cube, so if you're in a live session like I am right now, if you click on display, it gets enlarged, and the students can just put in this code, which I'll show you in a few minutes. They can just put in this code and they get entered into the class. Another way is you can copy the invite link. As you can see at the bottom here, it's been copied. You can copy the link and you can email it to them from your Gmail directly. But another way that Google has made this much easier is when you go to the People's tab on top. You can see over here teachers and students. So when you click on this plus icon over here, you can directly mail it from here. So I'm just gonna it's a sample email address so that I can show you all the students' perspective as well. And I'll send it to yeah, that's it. So when I click on invite, the invite has directly gone to the student inbox. You can also add different teachers. So I'll add Alvin. Alvin, what's your email address?
Just type Kothia Alvin, Kothiya.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So now when she accepts my invite from her Gmail, she's gonna be invited as a teacher. And when I go to this pair account, I'm gonna be invited as a student. Now I'm gonna come back to the student perspective in some time. If you see stream, right? So the stream is where you communicate with the students of your class. You can share anything like assignments, or if you want to put a reminder for an assignment that is due, if you want to announce anything, any upcoming class, all of that you can do over here. I'm going to show you a sample announcement. You get to control a lot of things since it is a classroom and there needs to be a certain decorum maintained. You can choose who gets to see this. So right now, since I have only one student, that option is not there. But when you have multiple students, you'll get a list of the students, and you get to pick who you want to be able to see this comment. So, for example, I'll just write welcome here. You can add anything from your drive or link, or suppose like a YouTube video. So what I'll do is I'll just add it directly takes you to YouTube. Let's just say I want to add like a welcome video. So just a random video. You select it, you click on add, and it gets posted there. Now, again over here, when you click on this little arrow, you get a drop-down box where you get to schedule when you want this post to go up, so you don't have to worry about when it's going. Save it for posting it later, or post it immediately. So I'm just gonna post it, and it comes on the stream. Now when you go to your general settings, you get to see, so you go to settings, I'll show that again. When you go to settings and you scroll down, under general there are two options. One is the stream option. So over here also you can control whether you want the students to post and comment, or you want them to only comment, or you want only the teachers to comment and post. So this is also to have some amount of control over the activity that's happening in your classroom. Now over here you can see the invite options there. So what you can do is, if you do not like the code that has been previously provided, you can just reset it so it resets to another code. Or you can, if you do not, if suppose your limit for the classroom is 20 students and you don't want any more students joining in, you can just click on disable, and it stops from any more students joining the class. So that is the general overview. So now let's go to the student view again. From here, the classroom. Like I said, when you click on this plus sign, you get a join class option. You can either put the code, or another more convenient way. So you guys saw that I sent the invite, right? So when you go to Gmail, here, you get the email invitation to tutorial, and you just click on join. And now you're in the class, and you can see I posted the welcome video as the teacher. So I can comment anything, like, for example, I just say wow, nice video, or whatever. So this is how you enter a class, and you get to comment. Since I did not change those settings in from the teacher perspective, I'm able to comment and everything. So now let's go back to the teacher's perspective. You can see the comment over here, but again over here you get a certain degree of control over what the student is commenting. So if there's any inappropriate activity, you can either delete the comment and warn the student to not comment anything like that, or you can mute the student so that the student is not able to comment anything henceforth. So now that's it for the general overview from student and teacher's perspective. So if you all have Google Classrooms open right now, I'm going to display the code on the screen, and you all can enter, and I'll show you how it one by one you all keep entering. So I'm going to display the code, and I'm going to keep the people tab open where you all can keep joining one by one. Is that okay? Okay. Or actually, I'll just paste the code in the chat box. It'll be easier for you to just copy paste it into your Google Classroom. There. So just go to the plus sign, click on join class, and put in this code, and you'll be able to join my tutorial class. Yeah, see, like one by one, all of the students are starting to show up. I'm going to proceed further since it's already 12:50. Now let's look at the more educational aspect of Google Classroom. So when you go to the classwork tab on the top, there are many features here that you can access. So the first feature I'm going to show you is topics. So when you click on create, these are the options you get. You can create assignments, quizzes, questions, material. So first I'm going to show you topics. So for example, you want to post material. For example, you want to give the students resources to refer to for their future assignments. So this becomes one topic. So everything that you post under resources is going to come under this topic. Another topic, for example, if I take class videos. So for example, if you are recording the class, and if you want the students to be able to access it easily later, so you can record the videos and post it here. So as you can see now, everything, all the videos that you post will come under here. So like that, there are many, like you can, and then it shows up here so that you can only see the class videos or only see the resources. It's very easy to use, basically. So that's how you make the topic. Now I'm going to show you how to add material under one of these. So again, we're going to go to create, and we're going to click on material. Now the title again can be anything you want. So let's say I'm going to make the title tutorial again, and description is what you want them to do with the material. So I'm going to write refer to this document, and after that, what you can do is, again, when you click, it's pretty self-explanatory really, but when you click on add, you can either, if you already saved the material that you want them to refer to, you can access it from your Google Drive, or if it's a link, or if it's a file from your PC or video, or YouTube video, whatever. So first I'm going to show you all from Google Drive. It again directly takes you to your drive, and there. So I'm going to upload this document, and I'm going to also add a link. So suppose I want them to write about types of clouds. I'm going to copy, and I want them to refer to this particular article. I'm going to copy the link from this article, and I'm going to paste it here and add. So that also gets added as one of the material over here. Now again over here, again the same, you get to schedule it or save it or discard it or post it immediately, and you get to have certain degree of control on who you want to be able to see these materials. I'm going to let it be all students for now. And another thing that you get to do is you get to choose under which topic you want these materials to be displayed. So since these are resources for the students to refer to, I'm going to click resources, and I'm going to post it. So as you can see under resources, this has been posted. Now I'm going to take you to the student's perspective to show how this is going to look. There, you can see new material under tutorial is posted here. When you click on this, very easy to use, access. You can go to the links, you can go to the document and edit or refer to it or whatever the instructions that have been given with the material. Now the next thing that I'm going to show you, again back to the teacher's perspective, is how to create assignments. So again, you go to create and you click on assignment. Now let's see assignment B, types of clouds, and I'm going to make the instruction as list down the types of clouds. Now over here again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a PPT. Now, another thing that's different about this assignment option is that you get to control what the students can do with the document that you've uploaded. So students can either view the file, That is, they can just refer to it as a material and they can make their own assignment based off of this, or they can edit the file where the changes. So students can edit the file is basically used when you want to make a collaborative PPT. So if you want all of the students to edit the same PPT, then you select the second option so that all the changes are made in one PPT and it's like a team project. This last option, make a copy for each student, is when each student gets a blank copy of the PPT for themselves. So that is when it is an individual assignment. Again, over here, the same schedule, assign, save options, and you get to control who gets to see the assignment. You get to control whether you want the assignment to be graded or ungraded. And if it is graded, you can select how much you want it out of. So I'm just going to keep it out of 5. You can select a due date and time of when, if you want to keep a deadline for the assignment to be submitted, and under which topic you want this to be shown. So I'm just going to create assignments. And so that's a new topic that's been created, and I'm going to assign. So that's been assigned. I'm going to go back to the student's perspective and refresh it. Even you all will be able to see the new assignment that I've posted. So what I want you all to do is go on to the assignment that I've posted, and so the student gets to do 2 things. One is edit the slide itself that has been posted over here. If it's a collaborative work, for example, so they can edit the slide that's been posted over here. And if they want to put in some extra information which they weren't able to put on the slides, then they can add or create. So again, they can add a separate PPT altogether, or a document, or something from their drive, anything. That is if they want to put anything additional. And then when they click on turn in, the assignment has been submitted. Now the student also gets an option of unsubmit, which is, so if once the teacher has given them some feedback and they want to make some changes, then they can unsubmit it, make the changes, and submit it again. So that's a cool feature. And that's pretty much all the student can do. Now, when you come to the teacher's perspective, so I want you all to do one thing, just go to the assignment and just turn it in, like how I did. So like you can see, when I come to the assignment section, I can see how many have been assigned the assignment and how many of them have turned it in. It's going to keep increasing, obviously. Now I'm going to show you all how these assignments are graded. So when I click on the turned in option, I can see who all have turned in the assignment. And let's just go to this one first. And you can individually open the slides and you can grade it. And over here, if you see this option right here, this little arrow, this allows you to switch the students. Like you can easily go to the next student and keep checking the assignments as you're going. So I'm just going to show you the options that are available here. So again, over here, you can give a grade. Suppose I give a 4 out of 5. And a private comment would be if you want any changes to be made, or if you want them to do better next time, or if you think that they did a really good job, then you can just add it here. I'm just going to put it as good job. And now another feature over here is comment bank. So a comment bank is basically when you want to give a unanimous comment to all the students if they've all done a very good job, or you want to tell them that they need to put in more effort. So when you post something on the comment bank, you just have to post it once and all of them get the comment. Like you can see, I posted good on the previous assignment. It's also showed up here in the second one. I'm just going to grade a few of them to show you all something else. Okay. Now you can either return this particular one assignment, or when you click on this arrow again, you can click on return multiple submissions. So the ones that have been graded, they automatically get selected, and you can return them for the student to be able to see their marks. Right. So that's been returned. I'm going to go back to the assignment. Like you can see, 5 of these have been graded, which I just did. I'm going to go back to the home page, and here when you click on grades, you get to see. So as and when you keep posting the assignments, you'll get to see the different assignments all in one place, and you also will get to see the average of the class in different assignments, and it's all basically in one place, and you can see who has turned in the assignments, who hasn't turned in the assignments, and you can obviously sort by first name, last name. There are many different options. And yeah, so everything that you do basically will show up on the stream. The classwork is gonna show the assignments or the resources that you post. The people part is gonna show you the number of students and the teachers that are collaborating with you. And the grades is gonna show you the class average and the grades for all of the assignments. That is all that I have for Google Classroom. As you can see, it's a very convenient way to get the same things that you could do in person in class now on your desktop. And so if you have any questions, any queries, please feel free to ask.
Okay, guys, for better clarity and for better understanding, we would like to give you a small assignment which we would like everyone to turn in for tomorrow. It could be a small write-up on any topic that you like. Okay, not that we it could be a poetry, it could be something on Independence Day, it could be something on National College, something about yourself, something about your dreams, your aspiration, life, or even a visit to a zoo. Anything that you want. We are not really going to be looking at the content, but what we would like you to do is hands-on practice on submitting of assignment, because that is a very important component in all the subjects that you will be studying. Number 2, we would be doing a grading, and we will return the grade backs of all those who have turned in or submitted their assignments. Whatever Rida Sheikh has taught you today about what is assignment, how to submit, how do you see it on the panel, all the topics, how do you see the average marks, how do you see the grades are being commented on, your assignments are being commented on, everything will come in from one experiential learning. So requesting everyone today by 12 p.m., that is 12 in the night, please submit a short assignment for 5 marks on any topic of your choice. We would not be looking at the content, which means you can even write Jack and Jill went up the hill. We just want you to get an experience of how to write, how to turn in, or how to submit. We generally use the word turn in assignment, which means submit your presentations or assignments, and we want you also to understand how we are going to grade it. So the grading is irrelevant, but we just want you to understand how you can see the grading in an average, etc. Anything of your choice. By today, 12 p.m., we will not accept any assignments because we will require time to go through these assignments and grade it. So we request you to submit it by tonight, 12 o'clock. Now, if anyone has any questions, please put it in the chat box. If you don't want to type it, you can even unmute yourself and ask the questions right away so that we can take your questions and solve the query.
Hi, this is Manav. I had a question.
Sure, Manav.
So, will you guys make sort of an assignment called Types of Cloud जैसा अभी बना है for the meeting? Will you make it again, or should I just upload it over here again by submitting and then turn it in again?
So after we're done with the webinar now, I'm gonna post a new assignment titled Trial Assignment, and over there I'm gonna put a blank Word doc like I did for a PPT just now as a sample. I'm gonna put a blank Word doc and I'm gonna make a copy for each student. So it will get uploaded in about 15-20 minutes, and then I want you all to write it in that as well. So just like by 1:30 maximum, I'll post it and I'll put the deadline also as
Manav, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
If you want, I can post the class code again so that who all have not joined yet can join it. So I'll just put the code down again.
Anyone? Any other questions? Guys, please keep reading your messages, WhatsApp group that we have created, so that, you know, any updates, any links that we're sending up assignments, you can get your updates from there. Secondly, please understand that we are not grading for university purpose. This is just for experiential learning. So it doesn't matter even if you get 1, doesn't matter even if you get 5. We just want you to understand how we as teachers are going to write our comments, how you are going to view that, how you can write back to us, etc. The communication that is there, that's the idea. I see there is one more question in the chat box. Okay, so Rida has given she has put up the class code and the name of the assignment. You can put it as trial assignment. Whenever you are using your mobiles to log in, we request everyone to log in with your original name, even if you're using someone else's mobile, so that, you know, it is easy for us to give you certificates, mark your attendance, and we can verify that the assignment actually belongs to you. Does anyone else have any questions? No questions means that my alumni students were very good and you all are also excellent audience. Yes, Mehak.
So, ma'am, I wanted to ask, with Microsoft Teams, there's an option that comes up that should I download the Windows app or use the web app? So, which one should I use?
Sarah, can you answer that?
Yes, ma'am. So you can use either the web app or to download. You can use any. That's fine. I use the web page. You can even download Microsoft Teams on your desktop or your phone and use it. So it works both ways.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you, Mehak, for that question. And like we said, that right now, you know, it's always advisable to download the Microsoft Teams, because then it's just easy that it's always there. Like you download the Zoom, you download a Google Meet, you download the Microsoft Teams. These are apps that we will be using very often for at least the next 2-3 months. So it's much easier and faster. Sometimes you need to update your Microsoft Teams, which is deleted and you know, recorded. I mean, you know, you can download it again. And Microsoft Teams, as Sarah has already said, it's very, very useful. It's free. And when you use Microsoft Teams, you have Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, everything with it. So it's just all together. You know, you can keep doing different programs. Okay, there is another question for you, Sarah, that can you record something on Microsoft Teams? Sarah, this question is from Devratan Chauhan.
There's an option on Microsoft Teams when you can record your meetings or calls. even your calls and audios and videos. So there's an option you can later on view it.
Does that answer your question, Devratan?
Okay, ma'am. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
As I mentioned, there's a question from Altamash. We can use Microsoft Teams in mobile and it's same as PC. So yes, I showed you while talking to Alvin that I can transfer my meeting from my desktop to my phone. So obviously I can use the same app on the PC and the same account on my phone. That's how it will allow me to transfer the meeting. So you can use both ways.
Thank you, Sarah. Any other questions? Any other questions, anyone? Yes, so thank you, Sarah. You can use Microsoft Teams both on your mobile and laptops, on your PC. It's just so much easier when you use it. Work on the mobile. So it's just, you can use it on both the, device. Any other questions for Microsoft Teams or any other questions? You can unmute yourself and ask, or you can post in the chat box.
Ma'am, there is a question from Adeline, ma'am, that can we use Google Meet while using Google Classroom? So yes, ma'am, we can use it. You can schedule a meeting in Google Meet and then copy the link and post it in your Google Classroom. As Google apps are synchronized to each other, so you can use both the apps simultaneously.
Sarah, do you want to, guys, this is very important. Sarah, do you want to show one, can you just show it one? Can you screen share and show it? Is it possible?
Ma'am, I need to create the classroom. It will take time.
How much time?
I'll check 1 second, ma'am.
Yes. So just one, we want to explain this. Elvin, do you want to try and set up one Google Classroom?
I'll just do it, ma'am. We already have a trial classroom, so I'll put the link in that classroom. Yeah, I can make Sarah or Alvin's already a teacher, so if you wanna. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
So can you just, Sarah, can you bring that question up once again?
Yes, ma'am. So I saw a message from Abdin, ma'am, which she asked, can we use the Google Meet and Google Classroom, especially screen sharing?
Okay, so before first explain what is the difference to everyone between Google Classroom and Google Meet. Let's take it stepwise for the students.
Okay,
so I'll do Google Meet. Is that okay?
Okay, so yeah, okay. Rida, explain to students what is Google Meet and what is Zoom. What is the similarity between Google Meet and Zoom? And then Sarah, you explain what is Google Classroom.
Okay. So Google Meet and Zoom is almost the same thing. It's a platform that is used to have group video calls, and in Zoom there is a time limit of 30 to 40 minutes. When you have the first meeting, you get an unlimited time duration and your time keeps getting extended. However, after 1 or 2 meetings, there is a time limit, and the only way you can get an unlimited time duration is if you buy the pro version of it. Whereas Google Meet is a more secure version of Zoom. There was a lot of news about Zoom being hacked and random people entering Zoom meetings. Whereas Google Meet is a more secure platform where you can control who gets to enter the meeting. Only the people who you send the invites to can enter the meeting. And for example, how to use it in Google Classroom is you can copy the link of the Google meeting and you can post it in the stream section of the Google Classroom, like I showed, where I was posting the welcome video and everything. You can post the link of the Google Meeting on Google Classroom, so that only the students who are a part of that classroom will be able to join Google Meet. And yeah, that's the basic difference between Zoom and
Yeah, thank you, Rida. So I think it's very important that you understand that there is definitely a similarity between WhatsApp call, Zoom, and Google Meet. It's a meeting platform. It all of them have its advantages and disadvantages. Like very correctly, like Rida said, you cannot have more than 40 minutes of Zoom session if it's a free package, and with Google Meet it is unlimited time you can have a meeting. With Zoom you generally cannot have more than 100 to 105 participants at a time in a meeting. Again, if it's a free package. For Google Meet, I think it can go up to 250 for a free package. But we are looking at approximately between, I think, 150 to 200. But we are looking at an institutional package, and I'm sure that within a couple of days, each student of National College will get a college ID. Along with the teachers also, we would be getting a college ID. So it will be Rida Sheikh @RDNC or whatever the ID is. And every student will be given a college ID and a password which you can change, and that is what we are going to be using officially on Microsoft Teams or on Google Classroom. Now, it is important that you understand. So we want you to have a look at the students. Please have it again. Can you all show about how that grid option, Rida or Sarah, can you show the students once again? On Google Classroom, how can you put the link? Can you just show that? One of you, can you create a link? Elvin, Rida, or Sarah? We'll just take another 2 minutes and you can have a look at it, and then we can wind up.
Elvin, you can post the link of this meeting itself on the classroom stream. I've already scheduled a meeting, so I'm just posting that link right now. Is that fine?
Yeah, but can you show that on the screen, how to do it?
Yeah, I'll just,
Can you just present the screen? Aniket, do you have a question? I think there is, Aniket, is there any other question? Can we go into the presentation for a better clarity about this Google Meet and Google Classroom?
I'll just screen share about how to schedule a meeting and how to post it on Google Classroom.
Yeah. Aniket, can you please have, there is, okay, Elvin, can you just screen share? Aniket, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you, Aniket. Sarah or Rita, can you please give the instructions where to type it and how to check it?
So once Elvin will copy the link of the meeting, the trial meeting, and post it on the stream option on Google Classroom, then it'll show up on the main feed of the classroom that you all have entered. The code that I've put, the link will be there on the main feed itself, and you just have to click on that to join another meeting.
Is that clear? Is there anyone with that question? Is that clear? So does anyone else have any questions? Any more questions? Can we stop? So I think we have quickly, does someone want to summarize before we end? One of you? Sarah, do you want to summarize your part? And then Rida, you can summarize your part also.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll wind up.
Okay, so I'll start. Microsoft Teams is a combination of various features like calls, chats, meetings, etc. And you can create your teams on that. And teams are basically groups of people who work on similar topics, have similar interests, etc. Then you have channels within teams, so it becomes more specified. Then you can conduct meetings, calls, do one-on-one chat, etc. There's an appraisal system, and that's it. And Microsoft Teams has a lot of advantages compared to other apps, since it has 24-hour limit meetings. Then you can add up to 250 members. All these are perks of Microsoft Teams. It's free, and you can use Microsoft account in your PC and phone simultaneously. It's synchronized with your other Microsoft apps like Microsoft Docs, Slides, etc. So you can easily share your documents. You can do data document collaboration. So it's very easy while working in a team or while working on a group project. Okay, as you can see, and that's all. Next to you, Rita.
And in Google Classrooms, to summarize what all I showed you guys today was where Google Classroom is located, how to access Google Classroom, how teachers can create a classroom, how teachers can invite different students and share the code of their classroom to let students or teachers join their class, how teachers get to have a certain degree of control on what the students can post, what students can view, what material. Basically, it gives the teachers an opportunity to maintain certain decorum in the virtual classroom that Google has created for us. Then I showed you the student perspective on how they can decline or accept, or how they can use the code displayed by the teacher to join the classroom. And then I showed you how to create different topics and how to post resources or material under those topics depending on what the teacher wants to teach, basically. And then I showed you how to create assignments with instructions and different documents, links, YouTube videos, and resources that you can again share with the students about those assignments. And then I showed you how students can turn in those assignments. And of course, the end is where the teacher gets to grade the assignment and see the average of the class.
Service and how to make professional
So
presentations.
that's all that we did for Google Classroom. And then we looked at the difference between Google Meetings and Zoom calls.
So thank you, Rita. Thank you, Sarah. I think both of you as mentors were very good. At least I understood everything. So guys, just one clarification, what Rita was saying, that sometimes a teacher may also ask you to send a code, set up the classroom, call others for the meet, because this just facilitates. It's like a CR of the class, assistant CR of the class. It just helps, so that one lecture continues to the next one, right? So it is not always that the teacher is going to set up the meeting. We can even ask you once the webinar is over. Now, we request you to submit the assignments once again. And like I see no other questions, I think so most of you have understood how to use a Microsoft Teams. This is again a conclusion that we will be posting the link and the recording of today's session. Please take a trial at home. If you do have any obstacles or questions, you can come back tomorrow. The first 5 minutes, we will resolve the queries, if any. 2, we will comment on the assignments that we have received. 3, we will comment on the grading that we have done. And 4th, we will start with the session. So I will meet you again tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Tomorrow's session is on how to make official presentations. Now, all of you may feel that you have already done PPTs and what is the requirement for having this session. When we called it an official presentations, guys, this is, at least for psychology students, as you're aware, that there are no textbooks in the market for this year because publishers have not put in their books in printing. So we will be using a lot of online presentations, and the classes will be, students will be expected to submit official presentations which will be marked as assignments. So you need to know how to make presentations. That will be one part, and the second part will be, of course, community service. So first we will have the official presentation. The second half we will have community service. If students want to leave in the second half, if you're not interested in that, you're free to leave. So thank you once again and have a good evening. Thank you. Thank you, Rida. Thank you, Elvin. Thank you all the XPYs and all the mentors.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.